It's been a year. 2020 is finally almost over. And we can say goodbye to what has been a terrible season of humanity, as if we're a TV show for some reason. Hope everyone is doing good and enjoying themselves. How is everybody? Looks like I am up. There's probably a serious delay. I'm going to apologize to everyone in advance, just right up here at the top, in case you missed it. As you can tell, I'm in a different place. It's a different room. I'm actually visiting some family. I've been visiting them since Christmas. I'm going to be heading back later today, actually. So I am out and about at the moment. Again, we did it safely. We all tested. We all got our COVID test and everything. Everyone was negative. But bring it back to jumping in on what is happening here. The Wi-Fi here is terrible. It is absolutely atrocious. I'm actually surprised that this is going as well as it is so far. So if I do seem all buggy or there's weird sound issues or drop frames or the latency is bad, I do want to apologize in advance. It's terrible. So I just want to put that up front for everybody. It might end up being fine. And I think I'm peaking. I might be a little bit loud, so apologies on that. Still messing with some settings here because I'm using my laptop, which I usually don't use. So apologies if there's some wonkiness on the technical end of things, but I just wanted to send you, just wanted to let you all know. Hello. So yes, now that I've gotten the apologies out of the way, because I always have to apologize. That's just who I am. Let me say hello to everybody. How is everyone doing? Anon, Wellington, Benjamin, Miss Wicked Wolf, Olivia, Life of Frank, Robert, Continuum Trek, good to see you, Catherine, Olivia, Aaron, Bad to the Ben, Vatchning, excuse me if I said your name wrong, apologies, Olivia, Gray, Don, of course, This Glorious Clockwork, good to see you, also, I look very yellow in this shot. Sorry, I'm being persnickety of myself. Corey, good to see you. Val, it is good to see you as well, and I'm so glad that I actually get to actually say your new name. I hope it is wonderful, and I hope you're enjoying using Val. So sending you love, Val. Also, speaking of Val. Val and Sarah, sending you both hearts for the super chats you already gave before the stream even started. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. These hearts are for both of you, Sarah and Val. You are both lovely, amazing people, as is everyone. All of you are wonderful and amazing folks. And I'm so glad to see all of you here. All right. Savory Lemon, yes, that is Skyrim in the background. Normally I do Star Trek Online music in the background, more on brand, but again, the Wi-Fi is really terrible here, and so I had to set this, and I didn't even realize I didn't have OBS on this computer, which is what I use to stream. So I was like, crap, I like having my little ambiance music in the background, but the Wi-Fi is so terrible, and the download for the Star Trek Online music was so big, so I'm using Skyrim music that I had on my computer, which I think fits. Vale, I'm so sorry. My apologies, Vale. Vale done. There we go. Vale. I'm saying it correct. Let me know if I'm saying it correctly now. So yes, Vale done is now the mean. Mean is now the mean. We're reverting to the mean. Is now the meme. But yeah, no, I like the Skyrim soundtrack. I actually, one of my favorite things to do is when I was in college, I had a surround sound set in my college dorm, and it was one of the best places to study. Best ways to study was when I would I put the ambiance music of the world of Skyrim just playing in the background as I studied. Oh, it was the best way to study. The best way to study in college. So, Tom Casey, thank you so much for the heart. This heart is for you. Thank you for the super chat. You are a lovely, amazing human. Just want to support your channel. Love your reviews. Keep up with the good work. Well, thank you, Tom. I want to send you this heart and thank you for your being loveliness. That's a sentence, right? I usually play Nords in Bad to the Ben in Skyrim. I usually just like to hit things with swords. the reason that I play Skyrim is not necessarily for the combat or anything. I just like the exploration and the world building. Same reason why liking Cyberpunk 2077 now is like I just like the world, and I don't even really care that much about the gameplay of it. So I just play Nords because I can just hit things with swords and be done with it. But someone asked, Miss Wicked Wolf, do you have any New Year's resolutions? Well, I'm going to talk about the professional. I have a video that I wrote that I'm going to be filming when I get back home. That's going to be my sort of update video for the year. That'll be coming up probably middle of January, or early January. That'll be my sort of update on my goals for the channel. But I do have some personal goals for this year that I am trying to focus on. Let's see, what do I want to share on that? I'm just trying to think of. I kind of had a list. The first one's just an easy one. I finally I've lost a lot of weight and I've hit my goal weight this year, which made me very, very pleased. But I've always wanted to have like a tighter stomach, like more abs. So I want to kind of work on my stomach a little bit. It's kind of gotten a little, especially in the past few days because Christmas. I've been feeling like kind of full and kind of like because of all the cookies. So I want to try and work on getting like a more like stiff stomach, get some abs in there. I know that's sort of the typical like, but I mean I've lost so much weight over the past few years that I feel like that's an actual attainable goal, which is a weird thing to say. Hey Christy Abby, it's good to see you. What else did I want to do this year? I'm trying to remember what everything was. Oh, I did want to have FFS. I've signed up for a. I was supposed to get FFS last year, but of course, pandemic sort of put delay on that, and then I moved, so I had to change insurances. But my new insurance does cover FFS. I just have to go through the whole process again of getting it all signed up. But hopefully, because I won't be in LA, and also the pandemic will hopefully be winding down. I'll be able to actually get FFS this year, so that's another goal. And M Blue Horn, this is a heart for you. Thank you so much. Love your precious heart as well. Thank you so much for the super chat. You are lovely and amazing. Gray, well, welcome to your first Jessie live stream. Yay! Hello, welcome. It's good to see you, Gray. Welcome to the live stream and welcome to the chat. It's all just I'm just rant about random stuff and we hang out, and I'm just a weird person. I don't know why I had to say weird so many times. My brain had like a glitch there for some reason. Too much Cyberpunk 2077, I guess. What other resolutions did I have? So yeah, stomach. I wanted to get FFS this year. What else was there? There was one more. Oh. These aren't big goals. These are like silly goals. But the other two goals that I had is I have a tattoo that I've been wanting to get for a long time, and so I'm really hoping to get that tattoo this year. It's a Star Trek tattoo that I will share when I get it. So that is something that I'm looking forward to getting hopefully this year. I was supposed to get it after my breast augmentation surgery, but obviously again pandemic. And then I also want to get the shaved head look. I really want to do the shaved head look. And again, something I was supposed to do after breast augmentation surgery, but didn't happen because pandemic. So those are some small goals. My other big goal, and I'm going to talk about this in my big Patreon, in my big sort of channel update video later this year. But my goal for the end of this year is to try and do this full time. I think it's actually attainable, and I'll talk more about that in my video on it. But my aim is to try and make this YouTube thing actually full-time, because I'm really realizing it's where my passions lie. So that's going to be my professional goal. And then the other professional goal, but that's going to be more in 2022, is going to try and write more fiction, because I really think I want to start writing more fiction, but I want to focus on getting this full-time so I can actually have time to do fiction. So that's all the stuff that I'm thinking of right now, but we're going to talk about that in my other video. Council of Geeks, good to see you. How are you? Geek Filter, good to see. I know I said it earlier, but Geek Filter, good to see you. What are these abs you speak of? Yeah, like my stomach is nice. It's like way flat, which is nice. I didn't ever expect to have that in my entire life, but I would like to actually make it happen. So that's all that stuff. I also have the Star Trek tattoo. It's the Federation logo with the pride flag, and to boldly go underneath it, the Missy Alley 123. Well, that is an awesome tattoo, and I think we might have not the same tattoo, but sort of like sister tattoos. Let's see. Wait. Let's see. Is this the right leg? Yeah. There's that. You're gonna see my awful foot, but you have that tattoo down there. So I think I've shown that in a couple live streams before, but I feel you might enjoy that, Missy. Let's see. Steve Ash, trick for abs. If you have stairs, sit on the top step, lean back, and then sit up. Your legs being down the steps help you sit back up. Ooh, that's actually a good tip. I've been doing like the lie flat and like lift your legs, and then sit ups as well. That's what I've been trying to do lately. I've been just sort of doing that, but I want to actually like follow like an actual ab regimen. So that's actually good to know. Thank you so much, Steve Ash. And Lily Mack. Well, there was actually two super chats. Lily and Caroline, both of you, thank you so much. These hearts are for you. This one's for Caroline. And this heart is for Lily. You both are wonderful and amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate that. Lily says, "Hi Jessie, you're my fave," from the 70-plus-year-old fangirl crowd. Well, thank you so much, Lily. You are wonderful, and I am so honored and very grateful that I'm your fave. Like I'm very touched by that. So thank you so much. That really means a lot. And then Caroline, just wanted to say that I'm proud of you. Well, thank you so much, Caroline. That actually means a lot too. This has been, it's been a crazy year, and I'm, sometimes I don't always feel like I'm doing good enough, and it's actually really nice to like sit back and like look back at this year and be like, oh, I actually did do cool stuff, which is not what I expected to happen this year. I expected this year to just kind of be, written off, and I'm glad. That I was able to actually do stuff. And I should say, Caroline, thank you so much. I am proud of you. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. So, let's see. Everyone's talking about me cosplaying as Detmer. I would actually love to cosplay Detmer. The only thing is, like, Detmer is, like, as they say in the show, super macho, which I am not. I am not a macho person. My ex actually looks my ex loves Detmer. We're still friends. My ex and I were still friends, but she adores Detmer and actually looks very much like Detmer. They are very, very similar in a lot of ways. I feel like I'm probably more like Tilly in a lot of ways. Maybe not necessarily in body type. I might be. I don't know. I feel like I am closer body type to Tilly. I feel like I'm closer body type to Tilly than into Detmer, to be honest with you. But I feel definitely in personality, I'm more Tilly than Detmer. To be honest, I'm like if I'm anyone on Discovery, I'm probably closest to Tilly and Michael Burnham. Definitely responsibility hoarder. That is definitely a thing. Olivia's, what happened? One thing I'm going to do this year is make my name legally my name. Well, amazing. That is wonderful. I know that that's a pain in the ass. I had to go through it to change my name to Jessie. So I know that that's a pain in the ass, but you can 100% do it, and I'm so glad for you, Olivia. That is wonderful, and I'm so glad that you'll be able to be legally recognized as Olivia, but you are already Olivia. So, legalities aside, the law is dumb. But I am glad you'll be able to do that. I'm glad I'll be able to be recognized, but you are amazing. Let's see, what do we got here going on? Just in our New Year's, instead of saying Happy New Year's, let's all shout Jumanji. that I would, if that's how it all worked, that's actually really clever. I really like that, Miss Wicked Wolf. That's very funny. Killy Olds, your channel inspires so many. More subscribers always nice, but if you're able to make a difference, in one person's life who is struggling themselves, then you make a difference. Well, thank you so much. I do realize that. Like, it is one of those things that you often forget. We all do. Like, anyone, like, not to say like I'm a celebrity and I have, but anyone who has like any modicum of like platform. Especially in this day and age, and sorry this light is flickering. The power in this area that I'm in is awful, so the lights flicker a little bit. But you start to get wrapped up in like, increase the numbers, increase this sort of stuff, and you sometimes forget in the midst of all that like, it's about connecting with people. That's why I like doing these live streams, by the way. It's like, I enjoy like being able to hang out with all of you, and like, I know I can't connect with every single one of you, and I miss people's like, I try and read a lot of the chat and everything, and I know I'm gonna miss people, but it's important to like remember that like, it's not just about numbers. It's about actually connecting with people and making content that like connects with people. And sadly, as things grow, you get a little bit more distance from that, so it's always nice to remind yourself. So I appreciate that. And I agree, Lily Mac. Tilly is really smart. She's just funny and self-deprecating with a touch of self-esteem issues. That sounds like me. Very funny, self-deprecating, and a touch of self-esteem issues. probably a little bit more than a touch of self-esteem issues, but definitely me. Very, very, very true. Miss Wicked Wolf asks, "What did you get for Christmas?" Honestly, I didn't get all that much. In fact, one second, I can show you really quickly. Let me take this off. Hopefully, you can still hear me. So, I didn't get a ton of stuff for Christmas, to be very honest with you, just because it was kind of a more low-key Christmas, understandably so. But what I did get was there's some small stuff like I actually got some kitchenware, which was really nice. I actually needed some of that. What else did I get? Some other small stuff. Nothing really big, but in terms of exciting items, I mostly got books because books are honestly the only thing that people can get me nowadays besides clothing, and my family doesn't know my body size anymore, so they're always kind of, and they buy me like guys clothes sometimes too, so they're always like nervous about like, oh, I don't know what her style is, I don't know what her size is. Does she like guys clothes? She's like girls clothes. What's going on? So clothing is probably always a good bet. But otherwise, you know, movies, TV shows, video games, they don't buy me that anymore because I can just buy it myself and I know what I want better. But books are always a really, really great choice. So, the books that I got, here are some books that I actually got a few more. Books that I got were, oh, yes, I did get Lovely Maple Rum from Council of Geeks. I did get Lovely Maple Rum, and I heard that you, Council of Geeks, got a few action figures from somebody that might be in your background now, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, some cool stuff that I got. This is probably my favorite grift. This is my favorite grift. This is my favorite gift, is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, who many of you may know is the author of the Aragon books, the Inheritance Cycle books. He was one of my favorite authors when I was a kid. He was like kind of an inspiration because he wrote his books when he was like, what, 15, 16, something ridiculously silly like that. No one should be that successful that young, dang it. No one should be more successful than me. But no, I love Christopher Paolini. I met him once at Comic-Con 2017? Something like that, 2017, 2018, but I met him briefly, and he was such a sweetheart. So I was very excited to get this book. My stepmom got it for me, and that she didn't even like know that I was a fan of his. She just like, oh, it's a sci-fi book. I'm sure Jessie will like that. So yeah, I love Christopher Paolini, and so I've started getting into that, but I haven't gotten too far because I'm finishing off Axiom's End right now. So that's the book that I'm currently reading. Someone grifted you out of a book, yeah. And then some other books that are kind of fun. These ones because people know me too well. So I got Kate Bornstein's Gender Outlaw. Kate Bornstein, for those of you who don't know, she's a trans. I believe she identifies as a trans woman. I might be getting that a little bit wrong. But she's a brilliant writer on gender theory and gender issues. She's very funny, very irreverent. And yeah, anything written by Kate Bornstein, I would deeply recommend if you're at all interested in like trans issues, LGBTQ issues, because she's just very funny, very irreverent, but she really also hits on a lot of like really, really good ideas about the trans community. So that one's definitely true. And then the new Jim Crow, which I hadn't gotten around to reading, but I actually, I've been trying to make sure I study up on this stuff, doing my best. It's just like, it's the stereotypical like, well, look, I'm a white person who bought the new Jim Crow and gonna read that. But in all actuality, like jokes aside, in all actuality, like this is an important book to read that we should all be reading, every single one of us, besides the people who don't need to read it because they have to live it. So great book that I highly recommend. So I'm very glad that I'm finally going to be able to read that. Oh no! And then I dropped the book on the floor. All right. And then this last one's actually kind of fun. Taskmaster, which is, I don't know if anyone, my audience may not know it, but my dad, when I was staying here, when I was visiting family early in the pandemic, my dad got me into the show called Taskmaster, which has all of its episodes on YouTube. But it's a British comedy show. That I absolutely love. It's just they get a bunch of British comedians and they make them do like random tasks against each other, and it's one of those like kind of all made up, the points don't matter sort of thing, but it is ostensibly a contest, and it's just very, very funny. If you're looking for something like that's just like a silly little like comedy show that's like it reminds me a lot of Whose Line Is It Anyway. It's a little improv-y, but it has a bit more like doing random tasks focused, but they're all terrible at it because they're all comedians and they're all trying to be funny. But it's just a really, really great show. I don't know. I just fell into it and fell in love with it. And they have a board game, which I got my dad for Christmas, which we're hopefully going to play at some point. And then this is the little book filled with like a bunch of little random tasks that you can do that I think I might try and actually do some. Maybe use this to make a video or do something kind of fun, or do with friends once we finally can, because there's like pub tasks and everything in here. So once we're finally able to, have friends again in real life, then I might be doing that. So yeah, if you need someone on YouTube besides me, only follow me and Council of Geeks. We're the only places you should be getting your joy on YouTube. But if you need to get other places, I would highly recommend Taskmaster. I think it was they have all their episodes on YouTube, and they're just a bunch of fun. I generally really enjoy them. All right, now that I've ranted about my Christmas gifts, what has been going on in the chat? I'm sorry that I missed some things. What's the background music? It's Elder Scrolls, so it's Skyrim music. Yep. Talked about that. Don't know why I've suddenly gone Aussie on all of you. Apologies to my Aussie crowd. I'm just being Australian. So smoke on the barbie and other Australian things. Gonna be very offensive. It's fine. Sorry, I'm gonna stop that. Let's see. I never watched The Crystal Maze. I heard good things about The Crystal Maze, but I never watched that. It's a show, right? It's like a comedy game show. Oh, actually, no. My dad did show me an episode of that, because he showed me that, and what was the other British show that he... Would You Lie to Me? That was the other British show that he showed me. And I liked Would You Lie to Me a little bit better than The Crystal Maze, but The Crystal Maze also looked like a lot of fun. But I only watched one episode of that, so, it might have just been an episode that didn't catch me as much. Yeah, there's a book, Skirting Gender by Vera Wild. Sounds like a silly book, Vera Wild, who would read anything by a person like that? No, I'm kidding. Vera Wild, of course, is Council of Geeks, who wrote a wonderful book, Skirting Gender, which I have not read, and I am very sorry. I am sure she is going to yell at me in the chat in just a second. Let's see. Miss Wicked Wolf, what are your thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984? Well, I have a lot of thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984. Let's just say I've written a 9-page video that once I get back home, I'm going to be filming it this weekend, and it's going to be a longer video, so it'll probably be coming out mid to later January. So a little bit later in January, I will have it's going to be a 20-minute long or 20-minute plus video on Wonder Woman 1984. Suffice it to say, the short version was I was not pleased with it. I did not like it, and I was not a big fan of it. That's not saying if anyone else liked it, I'm not like, how dare you like Wonder Woman. I'm not angry about it. But I just had some thoughts, and I had planned to do a video on it, and I thought the video was going to be like, why I love it. Kind of like the video I did on Birds of Prey. I did a video on Birds of Prey, and that's still my favorite DCEU movie. I do have the book Transgender History, Olivia Wolcott. I've read that, and it's a wonderful, wonderful book. If you want a good history on trans people, transgender history, it's just literally a book called Transgender History. Great book. But I believe it's in the second edition too. What was I saying? But yeah, Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah, I had a video planned, and I was planning to do a video on it. I thought it was going to be a video gushing about it like I did with Birds of Prey, which was and is my favorite DC movie. No, it's not to everyone's taste, but I adore Birds of Prey. So I put that on the schedule, expecting that to be what I was going to say about Wonder Woman 1984. But then I ended up hating it. And you all know me. I'll do reviews of things. Like, if I don't like something, like if I watch an episode of Star Trek Discovery and I hate it, I'll be honest about that. And if it's like a planned review or whatever, I'll do that. But if it's like a big video, like I had planned to do for Wonder Woman 1984, breaking down the themes and things like that, I don't like being like a negative Nancy kind of person. I don't want this channel to ever be a thing where like I'm hating on something. And so I sat about it and like, do I even want to do a video then about Wonder Woman 1984? But what I realized is I am going to be very critical of the movie, but I want to use it as a jumping off point to talk about other issues. So I am going to be very critical of the movie and talk about where I think it personally failed, but then use those failings to try and instigate other conversations about, feminism and how we show feminism in movies and how we show, different issues throughout movies, and I'll talk about it more in the video, obviously. So yeah, I will be doing a video about Wonder Woman 1984. It is not going to be necessarily a positive outlook on the film itself, but I hope that the video will be an opportunity to create conversations instead of just like hating on it, because I don't want to do that. I never want to make a video that is just hating on something. I never want to sit here and be like, this was awful, and that's the end of the whole rant, in terms of content. Because I could rant about hating something for however long, but that's just not what I want to put out in the world. So, yes. Miss Wicked... Ooh, this light is like very... Is this going to be better? Yeah. Nah, that's kind of creepy dark. I look like I'm about to murder somebody, so I guess I'll leave the light on. Let's see. I've never heard of Linkara. I will have to check him out. Thank you for letting me know, Aaron. Miss Wicked Wolf asks, where's Newt? Newt is being taken care of by a friend back home. So Newt is A-okay. In fact, let's see if I can show you some pictures. My babysitter for Newt has been taking pictures of him, and let's see. I don't know how well this will show up on this camera, but let's see. Here's him looking like he's like photobombing this image. But he's playing with him. Yeah, the image isn't coming out super well on the screen, so apologies on that. But yeah, there's Newt photobombing. I think he's attacking that toy, but it looks like he's like diving in front of the camera. And then he's just enjoying his little treat there. So he's just having all sorts of fun. Is there any other pictures that are worthwhile showing? Nah. So nothing really crazy there. And Vovacat, thank you so much. Sending you a heart. Thank you so much for the super chat. You are absolutely lovely. And also, I've been seeing you in the Discord, so hope you've been enjoying that. It's been nice to see you in there. I don't really know what to say. Teehee, big holiday is coming soon. IDK if I'm ready to be done with 2020, but they're not going to hold me down no more. They're not going to change my mind. Yes, I'm glad we can finally set fire to 2020 and be done with it, though. To be fair, 2021, the front of it doesn't look like it'll be much better, but hopefully that'll, we're on the upward swing, at least, once the vaccine starts getting rolling out and things like that. So I am very excited for 2021. Like I said, I talked about earlier, I have a bunch of my plans and stuff for 2021, like FFS and things like that. But yeah, I do Moxus. I do have a Discord. You have to be a patron to get on it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because that's just how capitalism works, and I have to paywall crap, which is dumb. But there it is. It's it's like $1 you get into the Discord. So if you do want to get into the Discord, it's on Patreon. But I don't know if Mag is here, or Marg, I believe, is what her username is on here. But I don't know if Marg is here. But Marg organizes some wonderful watch parties in the Discord, and so it's really nice to see a lot of people in the community there. So yeah, Leprechaun Master 707. I am sorry if I am glitching out a little bit. Like I said, the Wi-Fi where I'm just visiting family right now, so the Wi-Fi where I'm at is not great. So I do apologize if my video feed, hopefully the audio is good. I don't even know if that is, but I do apologize if the video is kind of crappy. That'll be better next week. But for tonight, sadly. Robert Richmond asks, thoughts on Sense8 and other Wachowski projects? Love them. Favorite filmmakers of all time. Even the bad ones are good. Like Jupiter Ascending is like one of those like so bad it's good films. You can get like drunk or high or whatever and watch that, and it's just a fun time. But Sense8 and Cloud Atlas and The Matrix, obviously. But what was their first film? The like lesbian vengeance film. I can't remember the name of it, but I like that one. I should do a video on Speed Racer at some point, to be honest with you, about how much I love Speed Racer. But beyond Speed Racer, like Cloud Atlas and Sense8, I think are two of my favorite things ever. Period. Like Cloud Atlas is definitely in my top like 100 movies of all time. Sense8 is, if not my #1 favorite show, which it might be if I really sat down and thought about it, but Sense8 might be. It's definitely in my top 5. It might be my favorite. I'd have to sit down and look at a list of all the TV shows that I love. I have to make that list and see if something like The Expanse might get ahead of it, Battlestar Galactica might get ahead of it, The Good Place might get ahead of it. Those are just ones immediately. Futurama, things like that. I know, and notice that no Star Trek shows are in my top 5. That's kind of sad, but it's true. Star Trek, as I've always said, Star Trek is my favorite franchise. I think it's my favorite franchise overall, and I adore the shows. There are better shows than each individual Star Trek shows, but as a whole, I think Star Trek as a franchise is definitely the best. So, oh no, there's big lag. I am sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry that there's lag. There's nothing much I could do. And sadly, there's not much I can do about it, unfortunately. So, if you can still hear me right now, I'm going to just put in the apologies for the lag in the chat. Yeah. So, sorry, everybody. I do apologize if like I said, next week will be better. I'll be back in my normal spot and normal place, so don't worry about that. Next week it'll be much better, but I do apologize for the low quality of this week's stream, so sadly not much I can do about it. Really? Geekfilter, you haven't found BSG to have good rewatch value? I love really rewatching BSG all the time. I've rewatched it like 2 or 3 times in my lifetime, and probably up for another rewatch now. I need to also rewatch Lost. That's another show that I need to rewatch. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts this year. Do you have any recommendations? Well, what type of podcast do you like? I can give you some really good... I can give you some good suggestions. If you're looking for an audio drama podcast, and I'm actually gonna do a video on this in January, maybe February, but Magnus Archive. Magnus Archives is my favorite audio drama series whatsoever, period. It's a horror thing, and it is actually very, very scary. It's one of the scariest things I ever know, but it's such a great, great story. And like I said, I'm going to do a whole video recommending it, so I'll save some of my thoughts for that. But if you are looking for a really good audio drama and you're a fan of horror, the Magnus Archives is just amazing. I would highly recommend it. If you're looking for political podcasts, I'm a big fan of the Sunborn News podcast or the Worst Year Ever podcast, both by the same people. And they're basically the same podcast. I don't even know why they have 2 different podcasts. They basically do the same thing on both shows. But those are good political podcasts. What else do I listen to be honest with you? What other podcasts did I get? Let's see. Also, Vovacat, you sent another... I'm so sorry. You sent another super chat, and I registered it and then meant to get back to it, but I was in the middle of a thought and I forgot about it. Bobacat, here's your second heart, by the way. You said, oh, frack, yeah, I have been enjoying Discord. A lot of times it is just me writing essays into the void, but I like it anyways. I will say, I read your essays. I do try and read, just because of energy and I don't always have time or don't have any thoughts to add, but I do try and read a lot of the stuff on Discord. So just know if you post stuff, I do try and read a decent chunk of it. I won't always respond just because I don't always have the energy or time to. But I do. Yeah, Magnus Archive is great. What other podcasts do I listen to? I listen to a bunch of video game podcasts, like Kind of Funny, the Kind of Funny company with oh god, Blessing, Adeoye Blessing Jr., Tim. Why am I blanking on the main guy's name who runs that? Oh my god, he was from IGN. He's an amazing human being. Greg Miller, Jesus Christ. Excuse me, apologies for using Jesus Christ if that offended anybody. Apologies on that. But Greg Miller is an absolutely favorite people and one of my favorite creators, and he does a bunch of video game content. He's the CEO of a company called he runs a company called Kind of Funny. That's a great. They basically are a podcast. They do video too, but it's mainly just a podcast network, and they talk video games and movies and things like that. And I adore them. They're just lovely human beings, and I adore everyone on Kind of Funny. Actually, it was a dream of mine to be a guest in Kind of Funny. So if anyone can make that happen, let me know, because I adore Kind of Funny so much. What other podcasts do I listen to? Women at Warp. If you're looking for Star Trek podcasts, my favorite Star Trek podcast is Women at Warp. Infinite Trek, which is also run by the wonderful Geek Filter, who is here in the chat. Positively Treks is also a really great Star Trek podcast. Oh, I'm rambling. What's happening? I see Wellington Smith, Vera, Jessie. What else to say? Oh, and you should listen to the with Council of Geeks. So definitely listen to the What the Frill podcast if you're a Farscape fan, because it's us just being weird. So that's a fun one. Oh, one other one too that I will recommend. Just tossing out one last podcast here. Especially this is definitely something that people on my channel will definitely be interested in. I'm blanking on the host's name. I'm trying to remember what the name of the guy who hosts it is. Unfortunately, apologies. I don't remember the name of the guy who creates the Imaginary Worlds podcast, but Imaginary Worlds podcast, he does these really wonderful short documentaries about issues throughout all of the nerd worlds, like all different nerds worlds. He talked about like cosplay, people of color cosplaying. What is it like to LARP? He talks about trans issues, and he just does a very good job of like taking an imaginary world and sort of breaking it down and like some of the issues surrounding it, and kind of what I do just in podcast format. And I think he does a really great job. Does a lot of really great interviews. So Imaginary Worlds podcast is a highly recommend podcast. I think the only negative I can say about that podcast is he used to have all of his podcasts available for free, and that's when I caught him, so I was able to listen to all of them. Now I think all but his most recent podcasts are paywalled. Either they're paywalled or they're on a specific service. I forget which. Hopefully they're just, you have to look up which specific service they're all on. He releases new episodes on all streaming services, but I think only his like most recent 10 are on all services. And then you either have to go to a specific service for all of them, or you have to pay on a specific service to get all of them, which has been unfortunate because his backlog is well worth listening to. But if it is paywalled or on a specific service, sucks. I just happened to catch it before that happened, so. Yeah, Hannah, I know, I apologize. Not new digs, I didn't move. Like I said, I was staying early in podcast. I'm visiting family, so Wi-Fi sucks, and I'm in a different place. So apologies on that. Oh, yes, Fluid Voice, if you are interested in a trans podcast, Christy Abbey, who is in this chat, and I've been on the Fluid Voice as well. So definitely Fluid Voice. It's a good trans podcast as well that I would highly recommend. Let's see. Cast the Last. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. This heart is for you. You are amazing and wonderful and absolutely beautiful and or handsome, whichever qualifier you wish to. But you are either or both of them, whichever you want. But thank you so much, Cast the Last. Hope 2021 surprises us. I hope yours is phenomenal. I hope yours is phenomenal too, and I hope everyone's is phenomenal. We'll sort of see. This 2020 was a terrible stinking pile, but there was also some good in it too. I did a whole video on it. You can watch it, but there was good. There was good to be had in 2020. Namely, me getting to meet a lot of you, which was easily one of the best parts of 2020. So, heart to all of you. That's for everyone in the chat. Everyone watching, or if you're watching delayed or whatever, this heart is for you. Let's see. I need to catch up on The Simpsons. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. There's too much to watch, and I do like this. I like The Simpsons, but I don't, but it's been a while. So, let's see. Oh, yes! I actually intended to say this. Thank you, Yets. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. But yes, I did actually mean to say this at the top of the live stream. I actually meant to do a whole video on it because I've been visiting family. So there you go, trying to take a break. So, but I did want to say to everybody, thank you so much for helping me hit 30K. We hit 30K like last week. I think it was Christmas Eve day that I hit 30K. I didn't even think I was going to hit 30. To be very honest with you, at the start of this year, I was at like 6K, 7K, something like that. My goal for this year was to hit 10K. And I hit that in June. So, like, that blows my mind. Yeah. So we're at 30K. Excuse me. So thank you to all of you for honestly, thank you for joining the community, for supporting me, for joining these live chats, for hanging out. Legitimately, thank you so much. I would not have been able to hit 30K without all of you. So I really, really appreciate it. I am shocked and honored and excited, nervous too, because I wanted to make sure I handle this channel properly and everything. But yeah, thank you to all of you. It really means a lot. It really means a lot. So I thank you to all of you. Excuse me. I wanted to make sure I got that out before I needed to cough. Excuse me. Let's see. Who is the kindest person you ever met? I mean, I've met a lot of kind people. I don't know who to say the kindest. There are so many kind people that I've met. Steve Shives for helping me out on this channel. Like, he was one of the initial people that helped start this channel. He's super, super wonderful and kind. My aunt was one of the kindest people when I was a kid, which is funny because I've heard stories of her as a kid, and she was apparently like a crazy partier and mean and rude. But when I was a kid, my aunt, Mary Margaret, easily one of the kindest people that I ever met. My grandmother, the one who is still alive. The one who's still alive is a super sweet soul. My grandmother who passed away, I love her with all my heart. Wouldn't necessarily qualify her as kind. Smart and caring, most definitely. Kind, no. She was the one that would like hit you with a spoon and say "Svinya," because she's you know, we're of Russian descent, so she would just yell at me, swear words in Russian. So, the background music, El Rondario, excuse me if I said that wrong, my apologies, is from Skyrim. So, let's see. Oh, thank you, everybody. I'm just seeing now the messages for 30K. So thank you. I appreciate the congratulations from everybody. Let's see. Yeah, no, I know a lot of people found my channel through Steve. Like, Steve is easily one of the reasons that I met. Also, Council of Geeks. I know I should say that too. Council of Geeks is also super kind. It's weird. I always feel weird, like, apropos commenting on someone who I know can hear, but I know Council of Geeks would love to hear. So you are also very kind, Council. Also a bit mean as well. Judging there's a mistake that I made in the most recent episode of our Farscape podcast that she has said that she will not cut out. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to get in trouble for that mistake that I made in that podcast. I'll let everyone else find it out. But Council, you're mean. So there you go. Can you meet yourself? Oh, thank you so much. Because Jessie is 100% the kindest person. You are insanely, both you and Corey are insanely kind as well. You're easily some of the kindest people that I have met this year. So heart to you and heart to your family, especially going into the new year. And I want to make sure, Valley, right? I am saying, it is right. Valley Dunn. It's not Val Dunn, Valley Dunn. I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. I think I might have missed, you correcting or telling me that I was right. Corey, speaking of kind, wonderful people, Corey, thank you so much. You are wonderful, and here's a heart for the super chat. You are absolutely wonderful. 2020 has been such an awful year in so many ways, but it's the year so many people found you at Jessie Gender. I'm so glad Valley Dunn and I are among them. All of our love, heart. Well, I am very glad that you found me, and that we were able to interact, and that you both are just amazing, amazing people. Like, honestly and truly. So thank you to both of you and your family, and everyone else here too. So thank you to, sorry, I'm just seeing Council of Geeks being a jerk in the chat. So that laughter was at Council. I wasn't laughing with. I was laughing at you, Council. I was laughing at you, Vera. Bailey. I apologize, I apologize, Bailey Dunn. I'm sure if you could like physically say it to me, I would have gotten it right on the first try. So I do apologize. It's Bailey Dunn. I'm sorry. I hope I am not screwing up. My apologies. Like, you are welcome to hit me over the head a billion times until I say your name right. So I do apologize. Bailey. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I will get it right, and we will make it happen. I'll message you in Discord to make sure I get it correct. Excuse me. Patrick O'Connor. I think Jessie popped up in my feed, and I was like, click, and just went on from there. Sometimes the algorithm works, I guess. Yeah, sometimes it does. It's either the algorithm sometimes gives you wonderful things, or other times it just radicalizes you to horrible things. So the algorithm giveth, and the algorithm taketh away, I guess. But I'm very glad that you found me. I am very glad that the algorithm looked upon me when it was your turn. So there you go. Vayel done. I'm glad you're laughing at it. Laugh at me. It's totally fine. Vael. Vael. Robert Richmond is correcting me. Vael. Vael done. Vael done. Vael done. Vael done. Vael done. Vael done. Yes. Okay. I got it. Yes. Okay. I wish I had like something to cheers with. Like I have this empty hot cocoa cup. Here, cheers. I got it right. That's all I have is this really like it's like a vomit green, like there's a nice little snowman on here. I don't know what I was drinking out of earlier today. So let's see. Jose, any plans for the channel next year? I do. I'm going to be making a video coming out early next year, sort of like middle of January. That will be my sort of big update video and plans for the channel going into the new year. Not much specifically is going to change. I'm going to be doing a few more live streams. I'm going to try out a few different like formats, and I'm going to try and do, you know, bigger essays and more ambitious essays, and even expanding a little bit outside of Star Trek a little bit more as best as, you know, sort of the inspiration arises as we see. So yeah, that's sort of the general plan. I'll talk more specifically about it as I sort of make the concrete plans, but definitely more live streams. So that'll be one of the big things. I'm planning to do more gaming live streams specifically. So, just because I wish I was able to video game more. I've been wanting to video game more, but I haven't had the time. So if I make, you know, video game time productive time, I can make an excuse for it. So there we go. But yeah, working essentially a full-time job with this YouTube job and another full-time job is a lot of time. So between both of those things, I haven't gotten much gaming time. So I want to sort of make an excuse to do that and give more time to hang out with people. So there we go. Let's see. Oh, people are saying, glad I found you, and everyone's correcting me. No, I'm sorry, did I get it wrong? Dang it. No. Veil, just veil. Just veil. Just veil. Veil done. Why am I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Veil done. I don't know why I cannot get this. At least, just know that it has nothing to do with you. I am terrible with all names. As you can look through literally any video, and I say names wrong. I say names wrong of people that I know. Simple names. I screw up my own name. I've screwed up my own name several times. So just know that it is not you. It is me being an idiot for just screwing up names. So I am so sorry. Let's see. Hari says, I saw you on a couple of Steve Shives things, but I didn't follow your stuff until you covered J.K. Rowling and the Turf Menace. Well, I am sorry that was the reason. I mean, I'm glad that video got out there and influenced people. I'm sorry that was necessarily the introduction, but I am very glad that it helped you find me, and hopefully that video was helpful. So, pale veil. Don't be okay. Heart for the super chat. Pale veil. So veil done. I feel like that's what I said the first time. Did you take me on this big cul-de-sac just to get back to where I started? Veil. Pale veil done. I'm sorry. We'll get there. The great unveiling of the pronunciation. Yes, I agree. Let's see. Plans for tomorrow night. So I'm just watching. I'm probably gonna watch the ball drop. Maybe watch a movie with people. We'll sort of see. I watched Soul the other night, from Pixar, which is great. I might be watching Wolfwalkers with family tonight, which I'm excited about, and then obviously new Star Trek Discovery as well, which I'm pumped about. So let's see. The amount of giggles you've caused here is delightful. Well, good. I'm glad you're laughing at my horrible failures. Yes, TJ, Sense Oars. Which, by the way, I'm doing a rewatch of Star Trek. For those of you who don't know, this isn't necessarily a spoiler. There's one-off jokes in Star Trek Lower Decks where one of the characters makes fun of the fact that everyone in Star Trek says sense oars, like oars of a ship instead of sensors. So they say sense oars. And I'm rewatching Star Trek: The Next Generation now, and I cannot unhear that now because they all say censors, and it now bugs me. Dang you, Mike McMahon! You've ruined it. You've ruined censors for me. Let's see. Yes, veil, pale veil, veil done. It should now be a new now be the new meme. So I'm glad that we've you know, veil. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Basically, we're just gonna make your any name that you have throughout your entire life. We are just going to memify. So I'm sorry if that's something that you didn't expect or want, but it's happening. I would watch a whole live stream of Jessie mispronouncing words. It's adorable. Yeah, no, if you ever noticed, I don't know why I got into that. I think it was in college. I had one of my best friend, and still my best friend. He and I would just mispronounce words all the time, just for funsies, because we're weirdos like that. And I've just gotten this habit of like saying weird words weirdly. And I don't know why. It's just a weird joke that I have with myself that no one else knows. So I just mispronounce words. Like, what's the one that pizza instead of pizza? I say pizza all the time. Let's go have some pizza. So I don't know why that's a thing that I do, but I think it was just a thing from college that just has stuck around in my brain. It's the same thing. My best friend was from Minnesota, and he would always go oofta whenever he would like sit up, or like oofta, like when he sat down or whatever. And we lived together for a few months, and I just weirdly picked that up. It's like one of those weird, like, just things that you just are amalgams of your life, and just sort of like build up. So yeah. But Bajor, Bajor. Yeah, I agree, Goza. They do say Bajor a few different ways in Star Trek, I believe, too. I always love that, especially in animated movies, where you have like two characters, because clearly the voice actors weren't in the same room necessarily, so they'll like be two characters in the same scene, but they'll pronounce like a word relevant to the plot incorrectly, or different ways, even though they're talking to each other. I always just found that kind of funny, because you just sort of like just do that. If I come to the US for a Star Trek convention, will you show me around? Well, I can't promise Disco 70 to show you around, because I can't tell you what my itinerary would be necessarily, because I wouldn't know what it is, but I would be happy to meet and hang out. Excuse me, I would be happy to meet and hang out with a bunch of people at whatever Star Trek convention I go to next. My hope, fingers crossed, my hope is that the next Star Trek Las Vegas convention will happen. I guess it's now something else. It's not Star Trek Las Vegas. It's called something else now because they had to change it. But the next big like Star Trek Las Vegas convention that they have, I am planning on attending. And so when I go to that, I will make sure to make an announcement video letting everyone know, and I'll probably do a meetup. Hopefully I can be on some panels in some way, shape, or form. We'll see how that works out, but if I get invited on some panels, that'll be awesome. But if not, I'm definitely going to go either way. And I'll definitely do like a meetup or whatever, like maybe there'll be a bar around or something more family friendly if family friendly people as opposed to non-family friendly people, just people who have families can meet. But I'm sure I'll do something, grab a few drinks with people at a bar or something, but we'll definitely do something and meet a few of you. Should be fun. So Omar, thank you so much for the super chat. This heart is for you. Heart for Omar. Ugh, excuse me, I can't even say like names that I know correctly. I'm so sorry. Omar, that's I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. I hope that wasn't belittling. This is a very sincere heart for you, and I really do appreciate your super chat. So I'm sorry. I hope I didn't come across as condescending in any way. But love your channel. Recently heard you say you are a movie buff, and the Oscars being your Super Bowl. Same here. Have you seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? Thoughts? I have not. I am going to be doing a later on. At some point in January. I have so many. I've really big at this point, but I am planning on doing my favorite movies of 2020. But I know a lot of people put those videos out, and it probably does better for the algorithm. I know it does better for the algorithm to put out your favorite movies of 2020 at the end of 2020. But there are like 5 or 6 more movies, including Black Bottom, that I do that are on my list of like these might end up being a favorite movie of mine from this year. And so I don't want to do my list until at 6. Movies on my list of favorite movies of the year. more than likely my top 1 will not change, but the other 10 might flip around a little bit. So I will be doing a top movie list, but I'm going to be waiting a few weeks just because I prefer to just be a little bit more comprehensive. And you know, the people who put out the 2020 list are people who are reviewers who are like, whose job it is solely to watch movies. Sadly, I have essentially 2 jobs, so I don't necessarily have the time to watch all the movies in the world. But I do try and watch a bunch of movies. Like I've watched, let's see, how many movies I keep track like a weirdo. I have seen, according to my app, I have seen 273 movies this year. And of those, 97 of them have been from 2020. So I've watched like 100 any year besides this one, and then about 100 movies for movies this year. So there you go. No, I'm sorry, Christy. I am gonna wrap out in about 5 minutes or so anyway. So apologies that this video has been a bit laggy. So yes, Korai. I am going to say your name. I'm gonna say Korai's name wrong. I'm gonna say everyone's name wrong. But there we go. Flurkin's Galaxy, thank you for sending you love. I know, Saw Spiral was so close to coming out this year. I was excited for that too. I was actually very interested in that. I've only seen the first Saw, to be fair. I heard that the first 3 Saws are worth it, and then after that it's kind of like, blah. But I do know I liked the first Saw quite a bit. And then the next 2 are supposedly like decent, and then after that it just falls off a cliff. But I was actually very curious, because Spiral actually seemed like... Because the problem with... again, this is me having not seen the movie. But there was the Jigsaw, which is like a reboot of the Saw franchise. But like Saw just seemed like one of those horror movie franchises that they just made to death. You see it happen all the time. Paranormal Activity, Friday the 13th, just like Halloween. Just franchises that just go on, horror franchises that just go on forever because they're cheap and people want to see them every year. But so that happened to Saw, and then Jigsaw happened, and that felt like a corporate sort of thing where it was just like WB, I don't even know who owns the Saw franchise off the top of my head, but whoever owns the Saw franchise is very much like, oh, well, just, you know, make a new Saw movie. It's about that time. We can reboot that franchise, right? So, and then that movie came out and was kind of blah. But then Spiral actually looks like someone actually came to the studios and were like, hey, we actually have an idea on how to use this. And that's always the best place to start, when someone actually is like, we love this franchise and we actually have an idea that we want to present. And that's usually a much better place to come from. So there we go. Excuse me. Let's see. Favorite, people are asking about Discworld. I've only read one Discworld novel, which was whatever the first one was. In fact, I have it on I was listening to the audio drama of it. I did want to read more Discworld because I like the world. And I like the concept of it. It's very funny and strange, and I always kind of enjoy that sort of stuff. The Color of Magic. That's the one. Lights are going. The Color of Magic. That's the one Discworld book I've read, and I want to read more. I've also seen the show. There was that British one about like the postal service. I forget what it was called. I think Going Postal maybe it was called. But there was a BBC adaptation of, I think, Going Postal that I saw that I really, really enjoyed. So there we go. Olivia, I do not, and by the way, I will also, and I'll make this clear, and I know all of you probably understand that, but I will say it is never my intention to mispronounce someone's name or to say it wrong. Especially, you know, as a trans person, I understand how important names are to people. So just know that if I do ever mispronounce someone's name, it is never out of malice. It is never to be mean. It's just me being a dummy, which is generally the best assumption to make, is that I'm being a dummy. So there you go. So, I think I'm going to wrap out. Thank you, everyone, for dealing with the terrible buffering and terrible Wi-Fi that I have here. Like I said, it'll be better next week. So thank you for hanging out, and I do apologize for the crappiness of this stream. But I hope everyone had fun. I hope everyone enjoyed yourself. I hope you're all wonderful, and I think you're all beautiful, amazing people. And I think I'm going to wrap it out here. So I'm going to give you a giant heart. So here you are. Hearts to everybody. And I'm looking forward to hopefully making 2020